Yes.
Yeah, it's nice to meet
Yes,
you.
madam.
Nice to meet you too. It's a pleasure for me to be with you. I'm really excited to get started, to start this semester with you. I will try, inshallah, to teach you English and science at the same time. I prepared some lessons. I've prepared some lessons dealing with chemistry, with science, and some others that will teach you English. Okay? But my aim, the goal of this lesson, of this course, is to teach you English and science at the same time. Okay, because don't forget that I'm a chemist, which means that I'm not going to teach you English the way you used to study English. Okay? Okay? Do you agree? What do you think about that?
Yes.
Okay. For example, today's lesson, inshallah, will be about English. It will teach you a very important skill. Do you know the meaning of a skill? Do you know the meaning of a skill?
No.
Okay, no problem. Before starting the lesson, I would like to tell you, to explain to you the way I want this course to work, okay? You can ask me all the questions you want. You can stop me at any time you want. As we go, you may have questions. You have to stop me by saying, Madam, excuse me, I did not understand this. Madam, can you translate? Pouvez-vous traduire? Je vais traduire au fur et à mesure, Inch'Allah. I will translate in order to make the lesson clear to everyone. Je vais traduire, Inch'Allah, au fur et à mesure, de manière à ce que le cours soit clair pour tout le monde. Parce que vous avez des niveaux différents d'anglais. Je suis sûre, you certainly have different levels of English. And I want you all to learn. Je voudrais que tous vous appreniez. Celui qui a un bon niveau, je veux qu'il l'améliore. Je veux qu'il ait du vocabulaire et de la science et de la prononciation. Celui qui ne parle pas anglais, je veux qu'il l'apprenne et qu'il apprenne la science en même temps. Inshallah. I want you all to improve your English, whatever this level of English is. If you have a good level of English, I want you to improve it. I want you to have a good vocabulary. I want you to improve your pronunciation and to improve your fluency. And for people who don't speak English at all, I want you all to learn English with me. OK? Pas de complexe. Vous devez me parler, vous devez répondre à mes questions, vous devez me suggérer des choses, et puis on se corrige, on répète, on traduit, OK? Mais on travaille, OK? Il n'y a pas de complexe avec moi. We are here to learn, we are here. Don't forget that I am a scientist. Je suis une scientifique d'abord. I am a scientist. Et en science, on apprend qu'on ne sait pas grand-chose de la vie. Hein? On s'améliore tout le temps. We have to improve our level of science and our level of English. Okay? If you're ready, are you ready? If you're
Yes,
ready,
miss.
let's get
We're
into
ready.
it. Okay, let's get into it. Before starting, yes, I forgot to ask you. I want to ask you to bring a notepad. You know the meaning of a notepad and carnet, a notebook and cahier, or a notepad and carnet, on which I want you please to bring a notepad on which you write all the new words, all the new expressions, all the new vocabulary that you meet during our lessons. OK? Je voudrais, s'il vous plaît, que vous apportiez un carnet ou un cahier sur lequel vous écrivez tout ce qui est nouveau, tout ce qui est intéressant, expressions, expressions, sentences, phrases, vocabulary, le vocabulaire, tout ce qui est nouveau, vous le notez. Je vais essayer, Inch'Allah, au fur et à mesure de vous envoyer le cours, mais ça, le cours, c'est en totalité, c'est pas comme vous avez un carnet sur lequel vous notez tout ce qui est essentiel. OK, it's important. In order to work properly, in order to make efficiently, pour travailler convenablement et efficacement, je voudrais, s'il vous plaît, que vous ameniez un cahier, un carnet sur lequel vous écrivez tout ce qui est intéressant et tout ce qui est nouveau. OK? Please, who can record the session? Qui c'est qui pourrait enregistrer, s'il vous plaît, la séance? Is that possible? Is that possible, guys? Perfect. It's a good thing. For me, in my opinion, it's a good thing, but be careful, ladies, be careful. You have to ask the teacher first, okay? You have to ask the teacher first, and if the teacher agrees, you can record and of course share it after that. No problem, no problem. Just telling you. It's actually I have to teach you those things. No problem at all. You can record, please, because I believe that if you have the recording of the session, you can. No problem at all, Maryam. If you have the recording, if you have the session recorded, you can do your revisions easily. You can hear me, listen to the lesson, and the revision is better, of course. Bismillah. Tell me, young people, can you see the presentation?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
You can see the presentation? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. As I told you before, we try, inshallah, to teach you English and science and chemistry. But some lessons will deal only with English, and others will only deal with chemistry. For our first lesson, I'd like to teach you how to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. Je voudrais vous apprendre certaines leçons traiteront de chimie, d'autres d'anglais. Pour cette première leçon, for this first lesson, je voudrais vous apprendre, I want to teach you an important skill. Je voudrais vous apprendre un talent, une compétence. Skill, c'est un talent, une compétence, une habilité, a skill essentiel, something basic, very important. How to introduce yourself clearly, clairement, and confidently to anyone. Vous devez savoir vous présenter, quelle que soit la situation. Of course, to introduce yourself depends on, ça dépend de. En français, ça dépend de. In English, we don't say it depends of, it depends on. Okay? Introducing yourself will depend on the person you meet. Ça va dépendre de la personne que vous rencontrez. It depends on the person you meet. If you meet, for example, a teacher or a lecturer, si vous rencontrez un enseignant ou un conférencier, ça ne sera pas comme rencontrer, it will be different. That would be different from meeting a friend, from meeting a neighbor. Ce serait différent d'une rencontre ou de rencontrer un voisin, par exemple. So today, inshallah, I will teach you how to introduce yourself, whatever is the situation or the context. Okay, this is basic, but this is important. I will teach you how to greet, comment saluer, comment donner votre âge, comment parler de votre situation familiale, comment parler de vos hobbies. Okay? Are you interested? Can we start?
Yes, we can.
Ready into it? Okay, let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna admit your friends. Please try to be on time next time, because otherwise we will time admitting everyone. Please try to be there on time. Okay? Okay, how to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. Clearly, like in French, means clairement. Sans ambiguïté. Clearly, clear, like clair en français. What about confidently? What is the meaning of confidently?
Confiance.
Avoir la confiance en soi.
Confidently, c'est avec confiance. Confiance in English means confidence. Okay? I put this definition for you. Okay, I will read and translate. Je vais lire et traduire. To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. To introduce yourself, c'est vous présenter. We don't say in English to present yourself. No, we say to introduce yourself. Me présenter, c'est to introduce myself. Okay? To introduce yourself effectively. Effectively, c'est de manière efficace. It does not mean effectivement like in French. Be careful. There are many words that in English that resemble, qui ressemblent, that are similar to the words French, but which have very different meanings. Okay? Be careful. They have different meanings. It's the case with effectively. It's not effectivement, oui, d'accord, effectivement. Non, indeed, effectivement, en effet. Indeed. Quand vous me dites quelque chose, je vais vous dire en effet, effectivement, oui. Indeed. Effectively in English means efficacement. Okay? Is that clear? To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. A skill is the ability to do something well. C'est la capacité. The ability. C'est la capacité de faire quelque chose bien. Is the ability to do something well. In French, en français, skill can be translated to habilité, talent, compétence. Dans notre cas, il s'agit d'une compétence. Is that clear? To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. C'est une compétence importante à apprendre. Si vous ne vous présentez pas bien, si vous êtes brouillant, si vous bégayez, vous êtes nerveux, vous ne savez pas quoi dire, vous pouvez donner une mauvaise impression. Par contre, si vous vous présentez clairement avec assurance, vous pouvez donner une très bonne impression. If you introduce yourself clearly, you can make a very good feeling on people you meet. But be careful, if you're nervous, too nervous, and you don't know what to say, you look for your words, this can be bad, especially during interviews, surtout durant des entretiens. Okay, let's go back. I repeat. To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. As future scientists, you'll have to attend scientific meetings and interviews. You may also meet foreign students or colleagues from abroad. And the first thing you'll have to do is to introduce yourself. As future scientists, en tant que futur scientifique, Inch'Allah, you'll have to attend scientific meetings. Do you know the meaning of to attend in English? How could you translate that to French? To attend. To attend.
Assister?
Assister. To attend, c'est assister. Oui, c'est assister. To attend the lecture. Assister à la conférence. To attend the lecture. To attend the scientific meeting. Assister à une rencontre scientifique. As future scientists, Inch'Allah, you will have to attend scientific meetings. Yes. En tant que futur scientifique, vous allez Inch'Allah, assister à beaucoup de rencontres scientifiques. Et vous pensez bien que nous invitons des étrangers. We invite people from abroad, de l'étranger abroad, foreign people, donc des étrangers. And you'll have to speak English with them. For example, a Portuguese, a Spanish, I don't know, you will not speak Spanish. An Indian, you will speak English. So you'll have to introduce yourself. Believe me, you'll have to do it. You'll have to attend scientific meetings, but you will also have to attend interviews. Interviews, we can say interview. In some American English, I heard interview. You'll have to attend interviews. Interviews, you know what is the meaning of an interview?
Yes.
C'est un entretien. It is the day where you meet a person you want to work for. When you want a job, you want a position, you attend an interview. As I told you, we say interview, or we can say interview. Okay? As future scientists, you'll have to attend scientific meetings and interviews. You also meet foreign students. Foreign, c'est les étrangers. Foreign students or colleagues from abroad. De l'étranger. Let me give you an example. This is my own experience. C'est ma propre expérience. When I was doing my PhD, during my PhD thesis, I worked in Spain. and I did not speak Spanish. I worked in a lab where I had to speak English, of course, and I had to introduce myself to the colleagues. I had to introduce myself to the students, and I have to introduce myself even to the neighbors, aux voisins. It's important to learn how to do that properly. Okay, c'est important d'apprendre à le faire convenablement. You may also meet foreign students or colleagues from abroad, and the first thing, c'est la première chose you'll have to do, que vous aurez à faire, is to introduce yourself. Okay? Who wants to read this first slide, please? Who wants to read? You have to read, please. You have to read to improve your English, to improve your fluency. And no problem, I am here to help you. Who wants to read? Please? Anybody? Nobody? Hi guys, what's the problem? I'm here to help you. Who wants to read?
Miss, what was the question?
I never experienced such a thing. Usually my student, who want to try?
Can I?
Can I try, Miss?
What's your name? I believe we have two, the girls wants to read. Can you give me your name, please? Could you give me
Lila.
first?
Can I?
What about the order? Lila, you can start, and after that it will be, who wants to read?
Me.
Melissa?
Me.
No?
Yeah.
Manal?
Yes.
Manal and Melissa? Okay, so Lila will read, and after that it will be Manal, and Melissa, Elisa will read after that, okay? Please, please go ahead. Go ahead. Here's the first slide.
How to introduce yourself?
Listen to your friend.
Lila.
Yes, Lila, please go ahead. I'm listening.
How to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. As future scientists, you will have to attend scientific meetings and interviews. You may also meet foreign students or colleagues from abroad, and the first thing you will have to do is to introduce yourself. Skill, ability, talent, competence. Yes, madam?
Yes, please go ahead.
Is the ability to do something well.
Thank you very much, Lila. Yes,
You're
but don't
welcome,
forget
madam.
that we say,
Yes,
colleagues. Yes, thank you very
colleagues.
much, Lila.
Thank
Manal,
you, madam.
please. You're welcome. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Lila.
Nice
Yes,
to meet
Manal,
you
please
too.
go ahead.
Madam, I
to
read
meet
the same
you.
thing.
Yes, please read the same thing and we move to something else after that. Please read
Okay.
the same thing. Yes.
Okay. How to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. As future scientists, you will have to attend scientific meetings and interviews. You may also meet foreign students or colleagues from abroad, and the first thing you will have to do is to introduce yourself. Skill, ability, talent, competence is the ability to do something well.
Thank you very much, Manal. Nice to meet you. What about
Nice to meet
Melissa
you
and
too.
after that, Lisa, before moving to the slide? Melissa, please go ahead.
Yes.
You wanted to read, right?
Yeah. How to
Please go
introduce
ahead.
yourself clearly and confidently. To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. As a future scientist, you will have to attend scientific meetings and interviews. You may also meet foreign students or colleagues from abroad. And the first thing you will have to do is to introduce yourself. Skills, ability, talent, competence is the ability to do something well.
Thank you
Hello?
very much. Don't forget that we say abroad. Thank you very
Abroad,
much.
yes.
Nice to meet you, Melissa.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, abroad. You're welcome. Thank you. Lisa, would you give for the last student to read this first slide, please?
Yes, miss. How to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. To introduce yourself effectively is an important skill to learn. As future scientists, you'll have to attend scientific meeting and interview. You may also meet foreign students or colleagues from abroad, and the first thing you'll have to do is to introduce yourself. Skill, ability, talent, competence is the ability to do something well.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thanks a lot. Nice to meet you all.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
you'll have to learn how to. Thank you. You'll have to learn how to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. In order. Do you know the meaning of in order? You'll have to, si vous allez devoir, you'll have to learn, vous allez devoir apprendre comment vous présenter clairement et avec confiance, avec assurance, in order to make first, in order c'est dans le but de, in order to make things easier, dans le but de rendre les choses plus faciles, in order to explain the lesson, dans le but d'expliquer la leçon, in order means dans le but de, in order to make a first good impression, dans le but de faire une première bonne impression on the person you meet, faire une bonne première impression à la personne que vous rencontrez pour la première fois, for the first time. Clearly, c'est clairement, on l'a dit. Confidently, c'est avec assurance. Confidence in English. Be careful, it's different from French. En français, la confidence, c'est dire ses secrets, c'est se confier. In English, no. Confidence, c'est confiance, c'est assurance. Et quand vous voulez dire je parle avec assurance, I want to speak, je veux parler avec assurance. I want to speak confidently, donc avec assurance. Maintenant, si vous voulez dire, ah non, j'ai confiance, je suis rassurée à propos de quelque chose, you say, I'm confident about that. Je suis confiante. Okay? Is that clear? Who wants to read this second slide? Maybe some boys?
Miss.
Maybe some boys? No? Nobody?
Miss.
What's your name? Go ahead, please. Tell me. I'm listening.
Can I?
Who's
Can I
speaking?
do it?
Betul, yes. Nice to meet you, Betul. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yes. Betul.
Okay.
I think we lost her.
No, I'm here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. How to
Go ahead, please.
Yes. How to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. You'll have to learn how to introduce yourself clearly and confidently in order to make a first good impression on the person you meet for the first time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Another one?
You're welcome.
A boy, maybe? Thank you. Nice to meet you, Betul. A boy,
Thank
maybe?
you.
Where are you guys? Yes, Leah, please go ahead. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So, how to introduce yourself clearly and confidently. You'll have to learn how to introduce yourself clearly and confidently in order to make a first good impression on the person you meet for the first time. Clearly, clairement, confidently, avec assurance, confidence, confiance, assurance.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Meet a person for the first time, have first to greet. Write that on your copies, on your notepad, note it down. Notez, s'il vous plaît, take notes. Don't forget to take notes. I can't stress that enough. It's very important. Je n'insisterai pas, c'est important pour votre vocabulaire. It's important. To greet, c'est saluer. Saluer. you have to greet first. Sometimes in my speaking without greeting. Don't know what the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, you have to greet first. As-salam, qabla al-kalam in Islam. It's the same thing in the daily life. Dans le quotidien, c'est la même chose. As-salam, qabla al-kalam. It's very important. And sometimes the students, without paying attention, parfois sans faire attention, they say good morning to the teacher, and they don't say good morning, maybe to people who are in the lab or to the students, the person they meet. You have to greet everyone. Everyone. Okay? It's the first thing to do. La première chose à faire, c'est saluer. To greet. Si vous voyez en anglais quand on écrit un texte, quand on écrit un texte à quelqu'un que le connaît très bien, on le dit à la face. In English, it becomes greetings. For example, I have some colleagues abroad from when I write emails or messages to the colleagues, I say, I hope you are doing well. Adil from Algeria. So, greetings. Okay? Please write it down. Please. Greetings. Salutation. To greet. Saluer. Okay? Take notes, please. Write those things down. Note them down. Okay. How do we greet? What should we say? You should always start by greetings. Yes, we say by greeting. Depending on the moment, you can say good morning in the morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. A good night is not really greeting. It's when you leave the person. When you leave, you want to leave the person, you say at the end of the conversation, good night. But when you meet the person, you can say good morning, during the morning, of course, or good afternoon, evening. Okay? Usually we say hello or hi. We can even say hey. Okay? We say hello, hi, or even hey. But be careful. This is informal. C'est familier. This is informal, which means you can't say hi or hey to a lecturer you meet for the first time, for example. Vous ne pouvez pas dire « Hey » à un conférencier, surtout s'il est d'un certain âge, que vous rencontrez pour la première fois, vous êtes dans un congrès, vous appréciez la conférence, vous voulez lui dire merci, you like the lecture, vous appréciez la conférence, you like the lecture, and you want to say thank you to the lecturer and you want to introduce yourself. You tell him, hey, no. This is informal. This is not good. This is not a good idea. Be careful. If you meet a teacher for the first time, or a lecturer, a person, an old person you meet for the first time, you don't know very well, I advise you to say good morning, sir. Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon, Mrs. Aksha, for example. Good morning, miss. Okay? But if you meet a young person, a student for the first time, or a neighbor, a young neighbor, for the first time, you can say hello, hi, or even hey. Okay? You can meet hey. H-E-Y. Okay? Is that clear? Informal, c'est familier. Ça veut dire que vous ne pouvez pas le dire à n'importe qui. You can't say that to anyone. Okay. Greeting. Start with the most important information, the basic one. Of course, your name. I'll give you as an example my own name. I'm Selma Aksha. Or my name, Selma. My first name, Selma, and my surname is Aksha, or my family name is Aksha. You can use the three expressions, but be careful. You meet someone abroad. That person may not recognize your first name from your last name because he may be from a different culture. Si vous êtes à l'étranger, vous rencontrez quelqu'un qui est d'une culture différente. Par exemple, un Indien, a scientist from India. Actually, in India, India has great scientists. L'Inde a des scientifiques brillants. Vous rencontrez un Indien vous lui dites my name is Selma Aksha, he may recognize your first name from your last name, and he may not, because he's from a different culture. Okay? So maybe when you meet someone who is from different culture, you can give some explanation, some details by saying, instead of saying my name is Selma Aksha, you can say my first name is Selma and my last name is Aksha, or my former surname. Keep in mind that first name is the name given to a person at birth. Le prénom, c'est le nom que l'on donne à une personne à la naissance. The first name. Why do we call it first name? Because in English, we don't say like we do here in Algeria, I'm Aksha Selma. No, they say I'm Selma Aksha. Okay? First name is the name given at birth. C'est le nom donné à la naissance. Now, the surname, the family name, or the last name is the name shared. C'est le nom partagé. Shared, c'est partagé. Is the name shared by the members of a family. Okay? A family shares the same family name, surname, or a last name. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, madam, it's
Now,
clear.
you may have a nickname. Thank you. You may have a nickname. It is a name you like to use. You like people to use a name people used to call you. If you have a nickname and the conversation informal, which means that you are not talking to your teacher, you're not talking to a lecturer, you're not an old person. I don't know a person you don't know. The conversation is formal. If the conversation is formal, you give your name, only your first and last name. Only that. But if the conversation is informal, you meet a young person, you meet a friend, you meet a student, you meet a neighbor, you can add your nickname. You say, my name is Suchitra, but my friends all call me Suchi. This is an example I gave you from my own experience. When I was working, one day I was working in Italy I was doing research, and I met a young person from India, a girl from India, and she told me, my name is Suchitra, but my friends all call me. If, for example, you have a nickname, I don't know, uh, do you have some nicknames? Guys, tell me. Maybe we
Yes,
can give
Missy.
real examples. What's your name and what's your nickname?
My name is Lila, but my friends all call me Lilux.
Ah, really? That's interesting. Thank you. Okay, what about the others?
My name is
What
Melissa.
about the
My
others? Do you have
family
nicknames, guys?
call me Lila. Lila. Not Lila, but Lila. Hello?
Ah, really?
Do you
Thank
hear me?
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm listening. Yes, we did hear you. I believe we all heard you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we said we should greet first and give the basic information, your name. After that, a polite way, une manière polie. A way, in English, a way, c'est un chemin, c'est une méthode. Way has several meanings. Way a plusieurs sens. A way, c'est un chemin. Can you show me the way to the police station? Can you show me the way to the university? Or I will try another way. Je vais essayer une autre méthode. Je peux vous dire, I found a way to fix my problem. J'ai trouvé un moyen de régler mon problème. A way has several meanings. It can mean the road. Une méthode, une façon. OK? Exactly. A polite way, donc une manière polie. A polite way to start the conversation in English. After saying your name, would you to add, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, sir. Or, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Aksha. It's a pleasure to meet you or nice to meet you. And of course, if a person tells you this, you have to reply, nice to meet you too, or it's a pleasure to meet you too. Okay? We said, first, we have to greet. D'abord, nous devons saluer. First, we have to greet. Then, we have to give our name. After giving the name, the basic information, we should add, to be polite, pour être poli, we should add, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Okay? If, what was I about to say? What was I wanted to add something. I forgot. Yeah, I wanted to tell you, do you know the opposite of polite? If I tell you, you should be polite, not be rude. Être impoli, to be rude. To be polite, c'est être poli. And the opposite is to be rude. Okay? Is that clear? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes, Miss.
Don't make me feel that I'm speaking to myself, that I am alone. Please. Please, guys, you have to share with me. I don't know why I have only girls. It's a pleasure to have the girls with me, but I don't know where are the boys. I don't know where the boys are. Boys? I only have girls. I only have girls, really?
No, madam, we have boys in our section.
But the boys don't want to talk. They don't want to talk to me. C'est dommage. Try to share with me, guys. Okay. After saying nice to meet you or it's a pleasure to meet you, one important question to ask. Une question importante à demander, à poser, une question importante à poser. In order, do you remember the meaning of in order? What is the meaning of in order?
But.
Le but.
In order. Dans le but de. In order to, c'est dans le but de. One important question to ask in order to be polite in an English conversation is, donc une question importante à poser dans le but d'être poli dans une conversation en anglais, c'est how are you, sir? How are you, madam? Comment allez-vous, monsieur? Comment allez-vous, madame? How are you, sir? How are you, madam? I'm fine, thank you. And you? This is the answer. Ça, c'est la réponse. Second way, there are three ways you can ask about a person situation, about the person. You can say, how are you, sir? How are you, madam? Or, how do you do, sir? How do you do, madam? How do you do, ça ne signifie pas comme en français, comment vous faites. Non, non. How do you do? How do you do, sir? How do you do, madam? Okay, there is a third way, which is kind of informal, qui est plutôt familier, un peu familier, mais c'est très répandu. It's actually a question that you will hear a lot. How are you doing? How are you doing, my friend? How are you doing? I don't know, Lila. How are you doing, Lydia? Okay, how are you? How do you do? Or how are you doing? How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank
and
you.
answer,
And you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you? And if I ask you, how are you doing? You say, I'm doing well. If I ask you, how are you doing? You say, I am doing well. Thank you. What about you? And you? Okay?
Okay, madam.
Now, if now we said we greet, we give the name, we say we greet, we give the name, we ask about how the person is doing, and we can add an interesting information, especially when we are abroad, surtout quand on est à l'étranger. Especially when we are abroad. An interesting information you could ask is about location. You can say, hi, I'm from Paris. I live in London. I'm from Algiers. I am from Paris. Or I am from Algiers. I live in London. I live in Algiers. Okay? You can tell the person you meet, you can tell the person you meet where you are from. Okay? You can say, I lived in Spain for 2 years. Or in my, for example, I lived really during my PhD, I lived in Spain for several months. Be careful. We use the past tense, donc le passé simple. We use the past tense when we don't live there anymore, when we don't live in a place anymore. For example, I live in Algiers now. I don't live in Spain anymore. I can't say I have lived in Spain. I say I lived in Spain, which means for people who hear you, who are listening to the conversation, those people understand clearly that you don't live in Spain anymore because you used the past tense. I lived in Spain for 2 years. Or you can say, I lived in Spain 2 years. Okay? But if you're still there, if you're still living there, what you should say? You should say, I have lived in this town. I have lived in Madrid for 2 years, for example. I have lived in Algiers for 10 years, which means that I am still living in Algiers because otherwise, autrement, je dirais, I lived in Algiers. Okay? I lived in Algiers 10 years. Or if I'm still living in Algiers, I say, I have been living in Algiers, I have been, which means I use the present perfect. I have been living, or I have lived in Algiers for 10 years. I have been living in Algiers for 10 years, for example. Is that clear? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, Mrs.
Yes.
Thank you. You can also say, I grew up in Algiers. If you want. Excuse me? I can't hear you. Can you speak louder, please? Okay, you can. I said you can say I live in Algiers. I came from Algiers. I have lived in Algiers for 10 years. Or I've been living. I lived, which means I don't live anymore in Algiers. Okay, you can also say I grew. If you want to give some details, si vous voulez donner un peu plus de détails, more details, you can say I grew up in Algiers. J'ai grandi à Alger. I grew up in Algiers. I spent my childhood in Algiers. I grew up, c'est to grow up, c'est le verbe to grow up in the
Grandir.
past, c'est grandir. To grow up in the past, it becomes, I grew up in Algiers. You can say also, I spent my childhood, mon enfance. A child, c'est un enfant. Please write it. A child, c'est un enfant. Childhood, c'est l'enfance. I can say, for example, I spent my childhood in Algiers, but I have been living in Paris for 2 years now. For example, if you want to give some details, you say, I spent my childhood in Algiers, but I have been, excuse me, but I have been living in Paris for 5 years now, for example. Is that clear? Do you understand the difference between using the past tense and the present perfect? It's important here. If you use the past tense, it means, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, madam, we hear you.
Okay. If you use the past tense, it means that you don't live in that place anymore. It's over. C'est fini. Vous n'y vivez plus. Si je vous dis I lived in Algiers, it means that I don't live in Algiers anymore. But if I say I have lived in this town, j'ai vécu dans cette ville, I have lived in Algiers for 10 years, it means that I am still living in Algiers. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Of
Okay.
course, you can use your nationality. You can use also your nationality adjective. Instead of saying I come from Algeria, I'm from Algeria, you can say I'm Algerian. I am an Algerian chemist. I'm French. I'm American. I'm Belgian. I'm Welsh. I'm Scottish. I'm Irish. I'm Welsh. C'est pour le Pays de Galles. I'm Scottish pour l'Écosse. And I'm Irish pour l'Irlande. Okay? But be careful in Don't forget, in English, we use the capital letter. I'm Algerian. You have to write A with the capital letter. Okay? Instead of saying I come from Algeria, you can say I'm Algerian. Okay? You can also ask some questions in order to make the conversation interesting. Dans le but de faire que la conversation soit intéressante, dans le but de la rendre intéressante, vous pouvez poser des questions. You can also ask those questions about location. You can say, where are you from? Where do you come
Your
from?
nationality.
Where are you from? Yes, if you want to ask about the place of birth, the place where the person lives, si vous voulez demander où la personne est née, où la personne vit, vous pouvez dire, where are you from? Where do you come from? D'où viens-tu? Or, where do you live? Où vis-tu? Où habites-tu? Where do you live? I live in Algiers. I came from Algeria. Okay, you can add to the conversation your age. I'm 40 years old. Be careful. In French, we say j'ai 40 ans. But in English, we don't say I have. No, I am 40. You can say only I am 40, and the person will understand. But you can also say I am 40 years old. Okay? You ask the question if you meet a young person, be careful. You can't ask your teacher, how old are you? Madam, Mrs. Aksha, how old are you? This is rude. C'est impoli. Be careful. Okay? Be careful. You can't ask this question to anybody. This could be rude. C'est impoli. Il faut demander aux jeunes, meet a classmate, un camarade, I don't know, a young neighbor, un jeune voisin. You can ask this question, okay? But not to anybody. Be careful. Any information. So we said, let's make a quick summary, a concise summary. Allez, on fait un petit résumé concis, rapide, bref. What should we say first, guys? What should we say first? Young people, do you hear me? The first thing to say, what is it?
Greeting.
Yes, the first thing to do is to greet. We start by greeting. Thank you. What about the second thing? After saying, hey, hello, good morning, what do we say? What do we say?
Our name and surname.
We give the name, the full name if we want, or maybe the first name is the first name. Only when you meet, for example, your neighbor, quand vous rencontrez votre voisin, maybe you can just give the first name. My name is Selma. And after that, you can say, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
To meet you, Selma. Nice to meet you. I'm glad to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I can say, how do you do? How are you doing? How do you do? How are you doing? Thanks, I'm fine. Thank you. What about you? What can you add? You can tell the person about your location. I'm nice to meet you too. I'm from Algeria. Oh, I'm from France, for example. Do you live?
Then you will ask
in
for
Algeria? Yes, I
the
live in
job.
Algeria, but yes, we can. You can tell the person your age. You can tell that person, I'm 20. I'm 20 years old. And you can tell the person an important information. An important information to add in any conversation is about the occupation, the job or the occupation. Okay? You can choose the way to ask about it. There are several ways to ask about one's occupation. Il y a différentes méthodes pour demander ce que fait la personne. Okay? You can say, what's your job? What do you do? Not how do you do. What do you do? And you can, what do you do for a living? Please write this question. You may hear it for the first time. What do you do for a living? Not for living. No. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Okay? Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie? What do you do for a living?
Okay, madam.
You might answer. Vous pouvez répondre. Thank you. I work as an engineer. Je travaille comme ingénieur. I am a teacher. I am a chemistry student. I am a student in electronics engineering. In English, we always add a or an in your work before telling the person your work, the noun, okay, of your work. I can't say like in French. In French, we say je suis chimiste, but in English, we say I am a chemist. I am an engineer. I am an architect. Or I am a chemistry student. I am a student in electronics engineering. Okay? Is that clear? You might hobbies. You know the hobby? Things you like to do. The thing you like to do is called a hobby. Okay? An hobby. Even in French, the same word. We use the same talk. Vous pouvez parler de vos hobbies. As you may share with the person you met some interests. Vous pouvez parler de vos hobbies parce que as you may share, to share. Do you remember the meaning of to share? What's the meaning of to share?
Partager.
Partager.
Partager. As you may share, comme vous pouvez partager avec la personne que vous avez rencontrée. With the person you met. To meet, c'est rencontrer. In the past is to met. As you share with you may share, partager avec la personne que vous avez rencontrée some interests. Vous pouvez partager des centres d'intérêt. You may share with the person you met some interests. Okay? For example, I like music. I enjoy dancing. J'aime la musique et j'adore danser. I am into opera and antiques. I am into opera. J'adore l'opéra. Do you know the meaning of the opera? Do you know the meaning of opera? It's like in French, l'opéra. Vous savez
Yes,
ce que c'est
madam.
l'opéra?
It's a type of music.
Music and show at the same time.
Eh.
Like a
Yes.
play, comme une pièce de théâtre with the music, with dancing. There are very beautiful operas actually. Il y a de très très beaux opéras. Okay? I am into opera and antiques. J'adore l'opéra et les antiquités. The old things, antiques, les antiquités. Okay? I like, I enjoy, I am into. And there are some others you can look for them, okay? Of course, you can ask these questions. What are your hobbies? What's your favorite pastime? You can say a hobby or a pastime. What's your favorite pastime? You can also share if you like. Of course, this is up to you. Ça dépend de vous. If you want to share, you tell these informations. If you don't want to tell people these private informations, feel free to do whatever you want. You can share if you like some informations about your family. For example, you can say, I am married. Je suis mariée. I am married. I have been married for 12 years. Be careful, here we meet the same thing. If you use the present perfect, it means that you are still married. Be careful. If you use the past tense, it means that you are not married anymore and that the person is probably divorced. You say, I have been married for 12 years. It means that that person is still married because I have been married. If that person says, I was married, but of course she can add, I was married for 7 years and I understand that because of the past tense, I understand that she is not married anymore. I was married for 7 years, but I'm single now. J'ai été mariée 7 ans, mais je suis célibataire maintenant. I am single now. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, madam, it's clear.
Yes.
You can say I'm single. Je suis célibataire. I'm divorced. I have been divorced for eight years now. It means that I'm still divorced and single. I am a widow. A widow, c'est être veuve. It's the person, the woman who lost her husband. The woman, sorry, who lost her husband is called a widow. Une veuve. Please write it down. Note it down. A widow. Or if a man lost his wife, he is called a widower. A widow pour veuve, a widower pour veuf. In French, the difference is within the word itself. La différence se situe dans le mot lui-même. On dit veuve pour une femme et veuf pour un homme. Okay?
Madame
A widow
veuve,
and a widower.
c'est la meuf qui avait perdu son mec, c'est ça?
Oui, mais on dit pas meuf et mec, mademoiselle.
Oh,
No, what I told you, c'est correct. Mais on ne dit pas ça à son enseignante. I told you before. Oui, vous devez faire très attention à ce que vous dites. Ça dépend de la personne avec laquelle vous parlez. Si vous parlez à votre enseignante, vous dites la femme ou l'homme, la dame ou
d'accord,
le
madame,
monsieur.
désolée.
OK?
Désolée, madame.
Il n'y a pas de problème. Écoutez, il n'y a pas de problème. Je suis là pour vous corriger. Je suis là pour apprendre avec vous. Donc, il
Oui,
faut faire
madame.
des erreurs. Il faut que je vous corrige. Tout ce que vous me dites, le bienvenu. Il n'y a pas de problème.
Donc, madame,
There is
c'est
no
la
problem.
femme,
Yes, la femme,
c'est la
the
femme qui avait
wife,
perdu son
when
homme, c'est ça? The wife who has
son mari, on a lost, who has
her
lost her husband.
her husband, yes.
Her husband.
Yes,
Yes,
madam.
we call
Thank
her
you.
widow. And you're welcome. And the man, when a man loses his wife, we call him a widower. Okay? I have two children. I have two children. I have two kids, two boys, two little boys. I have two children, or I don't have any children yet. Je n'ai pas encore d'enfants. Or I don't have any children. Je n'ai pas d'enfants. Okay? The person you're talking to, quelque chose au sujet de la personne à laquelle vous parlez. If you want to know something about the person you're talking to, you can ask, what about you? Vous voulez connaître quelque chose. Il vous pose la question et vous voulez connaître la même chose. Vous dites, OK? How about you? What about you? Or how about you? OK? But be careful. It shouldn't be asked to anyone or in any context. Vous ne pouvez pas poser la question à n'importe qui. Elle va poser dans n'importe quel contexte. Notre enseignant ou the world person you meet for the first time. Okay? Now it's time to give some examples. This is the first example. It's conversation one. A first year student, un étudiant de première année, first year student, meets for the first time, qui rencontre pour la première fois, first time. Pour la première fois, a classmate, un camarade, classmate. We say classmate when the person shares with you the same section at the university. And if that person shares your room, si c'est quelqu'un qui partage votre chambre ou votre appartement, we say roommate. Okay? Usman, okay. Omar says, hello, my name is Julul Omar. Usman, hi, I'm Usman Abdul. I'm fine, thank you. What about you? Everything is fine. Where are you from, Usman? I'm from Nigeria. Welcome to Algeria. Is it your first time here? No, I've been studying. What are your hobbies? Listen. Excuse me, I don't know what's this noise. What's this sound? What's this? Okay, look. Omar meets Usman. They are both young and they are classmates. So they can say hello, they can say hey, or they can say hi. No problem. Hello, my name is Jalul Omar. Usman, hi. I'm Usman Abdul. Nice to meet you, Usman. Nice to meet you too. How do you do? Or how are you doing? How are you? I'm fine, thank you. What about you? Here,
Madame,
Omar
pardon, il n'y a
wants
pas de
to know
partage.
the same thing about Usman and he says, what about you? Quand vous voulez qu'on...
Pardon, madame.
Il n'y a pas de partage.
Votre écran n'est pas
Oui.
partagé,
Really?
oui.
Yes.
Mais ça vient d'arriver? It just happened?
Yes.
Huh? It just happened? How long have you been without... it just happened?
1 minute.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Here is dialogue. Here is dialogue. I told you, because they are both young, they can say hello, hi, or hey. Hey, say, how do you do? How are you doing? Or how are you? Now, if you want to know the same thing about your friend, Omar wants to know the same thing about Usman, he asks, what about you? What about you? Where are you from, Usman? Because Omar noticed that Usman may be from the south of Algeria or maybe from another African country. Where are you from? And Usman answers, replies, I'm from Nigeria. Welcome to Algeria. Is it your first time here? Because Usman lives in Algeria and because he is still living in Algeria, he doesn't say, I studied in Algeria. No, he can't use the past tense. Il ne peut pas utiliser le passé simple parce qu'il vit encore en Algérie. He needs to use the present perfect. I have been studying in Algeria for 2 years, or I have been studying in Algeria for many years. Okay? This is the first example. Who wants to read this first example, please? Two students. Two students. Two students, please. Maybe some boys? 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 I only see girls. I only see girls. A single boy. A single boy. Okay, no problem. Maybe girls, do you want to read?
Yes, madam. No
Girls?
problem.
Two girls, please. Oh, it's not Omar and Usman. It's not important. The most important thing is to learn English. Please.
Can I read, Miss?
Who to read?
Miss.
Yeah. Lila.
Yes,
Lila
madam.
and
Maryam.
Shahnazad.
Maryam.
Please.
Yes.
Please
Omar.
go. Maryam.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead,
Can I start, madam?
please. Please go
Hello,
ahead. Yes, we're listening.
hello, my name is Jalul Omar. Omar.
Hi, I am Osman Abdul.
Nice to meet you, Osman.
Nice to meet you too. How do you do?
I'm fine, thank you. What about you? What about you?
Everything is fine.
Where are you from, Osman?
I'm from Nigeria.
Welcome to Algeria. Is it your first time here?
Nigeria, yes.
No, I have been studying in Algeria from 2 years.
Wish you good luck. What are your hobbies?
For 2 years.
Football, like many Algerian.
I have the feeling that we will be good friends. La suite.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you,
madam.
You're welcome.
girls. Two other girls to read. Two other
Yes.
girls, please.
Miss,
Yeah. With Lydia.
Maybe
Yeah.
Lydia. Yes,
Yes.
please
yes.
go ahead. We're listening. Thank you.
So I begin. Hello, my name is Julula
Please go
Omar.
ahead.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Usman Abdul.
Nice to meet you, Usman.
Nice to meet you too. How do you do?
I'm fine, thank you. What about you?
Everything is fine.
Where are you from, Usman?
I'm from Nigeria.
Welcome to Algeria. Is it your first time here?
No, I have been studying in Algeria for 2 years.
Wish you good luck. What are your hobbies?
Football, like many Algerians.
I have the feeling that we will be good friends.
Yes.
Thank you, girls. I believe you had some, no problem. Thank you very much. This is my
You're
own
welcome.
introduction I want to read for you. This is my own, and it will be the last thing we will do today. Dear students, allow me to introduce myself. As I told you before, my name is Selma Aksha. J'ai obtenu, I earned a PhD. I earned a PhD in bioinorganic and coordination chemistry in 2016 from the University of Sciences and Technology, Houari Boumediene of Algiers. I enjoy working on the synthesis. J'adore travailler sur la synthèse. I enjoy working on the synthesis of novel molecules able to cure cancer and infections. I also enjoy teaching a lot. I am the mother of two kids, two little boys. I like reading books and spending time in nature. This is my own introduction. I wanted to share it with you in order to allow you to know me, I will be, inshallah, your teacher. And I wanted to give you it as an example. Please, for next time, I would like you to prepare, it's up to you actually. If you want, you can imagine a conversation in which you introduce yourself. Imagine a conversation in which you introduce yourself for the first time to your young neighbor. Vous vous présentez à un voisin, par exemple, un dialogue. Or, maybe you can prepare an introduction similar to mine. Vous pouvez aussi imaginer vous pouvez me rédiger une présentation comme la mienne, vous vous présentez comme moi, comme vous voulez, un dialogue ou une présentation, et on les lira, Inch'Allah, la prochaine fois. Please prepare an introduction of yourself or a dialogue with a neighbor for next time, Inch'Allah, for next week, Inch'Allah. Meanwhile, anything you want to work, do you hear me? It seems like I
Yes,
have some
madam.
connection issues. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we do.
Young people, can you hear me?
Yes, miss.
Okay, I have SNB. Okay, here is my email address. You can write whatever. If you need anything, you can write an email to me, and I will try to share with you to share